What are some of the examples and ways that today's educators are bringing paganism into our schools?
They're not.
Well, Carol, in my office I have shelves of material and documentation that parents have brought me from various public schools of how their children are being indoctrinated with Eastern religion.
Totally, totally. I believe you without question, and I don't need any evidence.
But let me give you one example. Here's a book that has been used in a public school classroom in Southern California. It's
in Southern California. Give us the school district. Give us the name of the school. Give me the name of the principal specifically. You know what? I have trouble believing people on this kind of thing. You know why I have trouble doing that? Because there's this massive spike of supposed claims about litter boxes in schools for kids that identify as cats. And it turns out it was all completely made up. All of it. Okay? There was a woman who famously showed up at a school board. Hold on. I got the clips. Let me pull this up. Is this woman right here? This is 2022. It was late January. It was Lisa Hansen. Shows up to a school board, and she says this. This is one of the things that sparked it all originally.
It was addressed by a child a couple months ago that they are put in an environment where there are kids that identify as a furry, a cat or a dog, whatever.
Completely made up.
And so yesterday I heard that at least one of our schools in our town has in one of the unisex bathrooms, a litter box for the kids that identify as cats.
Made up entirely. Absolutely no evidence for this.
And I am really disturbed by that. And I will do some more investigation on that. I know what's going on nationwide. I know it is.
No, it's not. Literally never happened.
Part of the agenda that's being pushed. I don't even want to understand it, but I think that people need to be aware of it, because I am really upset as a parent that my child is put in an environment like that. And I'm all for creativity and imagination, but when someone lives in a fantasy world and expects other people to go along with it, I have a problem with that. So I'm just putting that out there. I will investigate more.
Yeah, it was all made up entirely. The only evidence that ever surfaced for this claim that there were litter boxes at schools, there were two examples of this happening, or two pictures that were used as a premise for the claim that they were using litter boxes at schools or whatever. The first picture that surfaced, they claimed was a picture in a bathroom of a school of a litter box that children who identify as furries could go to and use the litter box instead of the toilet. Turns out that picture was fake. It was actually a picture of a litter box at an airport. It was in a bathroom because it was a bathroom designed for people and for people that have pets that could use the bathroom at the airport after getting off the plane. The second image that surfaced to back this claim up was picture of litter in a classroom that was placed there in case of like an active attack or something. Kids would be able to use litter in in an emergency situation when they were under lockdown or something. Those are the only two instances, the only two pictures that floated around that had any merit to them whatsoever. Everything else was photoshopped or faked or whatever else. And those two instances were fake. They were not examples of teachers putting litter boxes in classrooms or bathrooms or whatever in schools for children to use who identify as furries. The whole thing was a fear-mongering campaign of nonsense to freak people out naturally. It didn't just stop there either. This is like a national fear that's happening right now. Listen to Pastor Andrew Womack, close friend of Kenneth Copeland, talk about this issue. This is mid-September 2022. He's on his show, and he says this.
A friend of mine in Illinois actually knows a teacher that comes to school as a furry.
Okay, so let's see. A friend of mine knows a teacher. So we are 2 degrees of separation away now, right? Go on.
School as a furry and wears ears and a tail and uses a litter box at the front of the classroom to relieve himself.
Okay, that's like an entirely new level of claim now that we've entered, right? He uses a litter box. The teacher uses a litter box at the front of the classroom, not in a bathroom, but at the front of a classroom. Really? You really think that this is happening? And notice he offers absolutely no evidence for it once again. These people are disconnected from reality to degrees that I can't even touch. These types of lies have been spreading through the evangelical movement since forever, particularly since the Satanic Panic. There were a ton of people, I think 17,000 claims or something back in the 80s of daycares doing satanic rituals on children. Literally not one was substantiated. It was all made up, all of it. This has been happening since the very beginning, okay? People have always lied about this stuff, always. And these gullible suckers believe it every single time. Every time. Every time there's some new bullshit culture war thing that they want to get all wound up about, they fall for it. Like, when are they going to learn that they're the fucking idiots in the room? Not some supposed furry teacher who uses a litter box in front of a classroom. Not some supposed kid that wants to dress. No, you're the fucking idiot. When are you going to learn that you're the moron here? Are they ever going to learn that? Or are they damned to perpetually be the fucking moron in the room? Anyway, here's just another example on Pagan Invasion of them making shit up. This is 1994, right? This is a few years after the Satanic Panic. The Satanic Panic was still going on at this moment in time. To some degree, it was calming down, but it was still happening. And this TV show is like the tail end of the Satanic Panic, right? And we have a supposed expert on who's using weasel words nonstop to communicate to people that these things are happening in schools. What's happening in schools? In some ambiguous, secretive Southern California school that he's too afraid to name specifically, too afraid to give us specific names of teachers or principals or whatever. He says in some ambiguous school, this meditation for children book is being taught as part of the curriculum. Great, baby. Show us the curriculum. That's all I need. Show me the curriculum. You know what? After 17,000 false accusations about satanic rituals at daycares, I'm going to need a little evidence. You blew your chance at me believing a word out of your fucking mouth after 17,000 false accusations of satanic rituals at daycares. I'm going to need evidence now.
Titled Meditation for Children. And the author, by her own admission in the back cover of the book, claims that she
by her own admission, okay,
is an educational consultant for many school districts. She has taught transpersonal psychology and meditation to all age groups in the California public schools.
Is this even true? Is any of this true? This sounds like one of those things where he's saying he knows. I mean, why didn't they put it up on screen for us to read? Why didn't they give us some kind of a resource or anything to prove this? He's just sitting here claiming this blindly. And once again, you lost my goodwill when you lied 17,000 times over 10 years about satanic rituals happening in daycares and stuff, okay? I just don't believe a word out of his mouth.
Her books have been sponsored by superintendents of several school districts and by church leaders as effective educational tools. Then she says, much of knowledge from which we draw in learning to use meditation to get in touch with this great wisdom inside us comes from Eastern meditators, many Hindu and Buddhist. So religious ideas are being accepted in the public school classrooms, and they're masquerading as science. And
they're not masquerading as science. So he wants to make it out like creationism belongs in the classroom because meditation and other pseudosciences are in the science classroom. They're not in the science classroom. None of those things are being taught in science class, okay? Like, all of this completely made up, all of it. So I'm sorry. I just don't believe any of it.